saying that like. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, hit this pass and I'm homebound. Da-na-na-na-na-na, and I miss you. Da-na-na-na-na-na, and I need you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. It's been a minute since we did a solo episode. It's been a couple weeks, few weeks, who knows? But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back and I've missed you. It's your first time joining us and you're about to click out of the video. Stick around, friend. You're among friends. How nice is it when you adventure into a new chapter of your life and you feel like you found your tribe? Let me know how that feels when you get there. All right? Now, there's nothing better than feeling welcomed with open arms when you're home, you know? It was like when Han Solo and Chewbacca go back onto the Millennium Falcon. He says, "We're home, Chewie." I say that all the time. Don't ask me why. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to a special Friday edition. It's Friday. Got to get down on Friday. Wise words from a wise girl who had a rich dad in the music industry. Listen, you can't hate them all right? Listen, you get in where you fit in. And if that's what you got, that's what you got. As I get older and I become a man, okay, listen, I'm still in the process of becoming a man. I realize a lot of everybody's circumstance, a lot of times, it's not even their fault. All right. You just born into some shit and you got to play the hand you're dealt and you can't hate on people for it. Okay. But you know who I will hate on till the end of days? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, beef on sight. All right. Listen, you put me in the same room as Taylor Swift and I'm swinging. Okay. Emotionally, not physically, because I will never strike a woman unless they pushed me. Okay. That's another part of the internet that you sometimes stumble on. Remember when it was like only World Star? You go on World Star and you see some fucking domestic violence shit. Sometimes you just get in a weird rabbit hole on TikTok and it's just, I don't know what it says about me, but it's just men smacking women. I swear it's not back to back. Like I'm not only seeing that. I'm seeing titty balls, I'm seeing sad dog videos. We started talking about that with Melissa, where I think she was getting little people in bikinis and shit. And hey, get in where you fit in. Welcome home, brother. You know, that's what you got to do to people. There's a little bit of everything on the internet. And that's what makes the internet beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Okay. As I get older, I start just being like, I want to move out into the middle of the woods and just build a cabin. You wonder where your boy has been at, why he's not been doing solo episodes. I've been busy for one, and there's no excuse for that. Little Friday episode coming in. We're going to keep solo episodes, still doing guest episodes. A nice mix. We're going to try to get a balance going because I enjoy the guests and I enjoy the solo episodes. I feel like, you know, we're here together when it's a solo episode. It's just me talking to you, baby. All right. And I like that. I really like that. But I've been watching these videos online of these people who just disappear. They go into the woods and they just build, like they go off grid. They're like, the videos will be titled like 5 days in Alaska with no food or shelter. They don't say it like that, but that's how I read it. And it's like, they're just going out there and they're just fucking roughing it like the first people, you know? And, it's glorious. You get this. There's something really exciting about primitive survival. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a time in my life where these certain things start interesting you. That's how you know you're getting older, is when you start caring about history, you know, like it just is what it is that you just start, like the other day I caught myself Googling Neanderthals. I just wanted to know more. I just wanted to see, because sometimes I think I am a little Neanderthal. Like sometimes I do some dumb shit and I'm like, I'm pretty stupid. You know, like I'm like, I don't think, like sometimes, like there's some people you see them do things and you're like, wow, that's a really smart person. Like they figured it out. And then sometimes I'm like, there's something holding me back. And I think it's that I'm kind of a different species than everyone else. Like I'm a click behind, you know, mentally. And just when I look at my body shape, sometimes I think I'm built like a Goomba, you know, from Mario. Like I got these really thick legs that just would be more at home on like a baby oak tree or something, you know? So I'm like, there's something a little different. I went and bought a hat today, went to Archery Country, shout out. Tyler, the owner of Archery Country, great dude. Listen, this was the guy that I called around all over to get taxidermy. And for this deer I shot, fucking deer season is amongst us, okay? He was the coolest dude. So him and I just became friends. And he's now helping me get into bow hunting and everything. Just so dope. But anyway, him and I have worked together a little bit with filming. But he hooked your boy up today. Got some arrow tips, got a target, got a hat. Got a nice little hat. But here's the point I'm making when I say I'm a little Neanderthal. All right. This hat is tight on me with the last click. This hat is hanging onto my head going, I'm out here fighting for my fucking life. You know, like R. Kelly in that one video where he's just like, y'all killing me with this shit. I'm out here fighting for my fucking life. That's this hat on its last little click, barely holding on to the circumference of my head. It's a water about to burst. The levees, New Orleans, just poof. You got Kanye West on the left side of my head saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. You know, that's what's going on with the levees of this hat on my head. And it's because I have such a thick head. My dad used to say when I was a kid, it's because you got that big brain in there. Pops, listen. I don't know if there's a lot going on in there. I appreciate the moral support, but listen, it's a big dome and maybe not a lot going on inside it, ladies and gentlemen. But that's what just got me Googling Neanderthals. One day was just like, you know what? I want to know more. You always hear the term and then you hear about the Homo sapiens and the homosexual sapiens, whatever, you know, do what you want to do. Get in where you fit in. All right. Welcome home, Chewy. Anyway, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's get off that shit. What the fuck? This is what happens with the podcast. We just start talking and we just start going, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy news from what I like to call a hometown hero. Okay, listen, you might hear me poke fun about the Antelope Valley. I'm proud of where I come from. Okay, I'm a hood rat. I'm a desert rat till I die. Okay, 661 forever. I'm gonna get it tattooed across the back of my head. They're gonna have to use so much ink to just write 661 on my head. I'm gonna have to hire someone, whoever does the billboards. Stupid. 661 till I die. Okay, I love my hometown. I'll poke fun. Quartz Hill Mountain, baby. Get in where you fit in, huh? I call him a hometown hero. He had moved there. And it's such a crazy thing. Aaron Carter. If you don't know Aaron Carter, get a fucking book. And then with that book, learn what a TV is, and then get a fucking TV. And then build a time machine and go back to 1995. Early 2000s. Whenever Aaron Carter was a big deal. The little brother of Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys, if you didn't know. But Aaron Carter has been in and out of the news as of recent for past few years. Here's what's crazy. Years ago, not too far off, this man moved from Hollywood, LA to my hometown. And he was living out in like Lancaster, which is just a trip to me. It's just so weird when you see videos of your hometown on the news and they're like, new resident, Aaron Carter, you know, he was causing a ruckus. Aaron Carter moved to town. I said, there goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood. But he was apparently throwing parties. And then, you know, which is like so ironic because he has like his one big song when he was a kid was like Aaron Cardi B. He had like a birthday song, right? Where he threw like a party in the house and he like beat Shaq or something. I'm mixing up songs, but it was just a trip that Aaron Carter moved to the Antelope Valley and then now was found dead in the Antelope Valley. So that's what the AV does to you. Okay, listen. It's a great place to be from, all right? But out there, you learn to live, all right? That is a cold valley. It'll test you. It'll take precious things from your life, all right? You'll experience hardships growing up in a desert, all right? That's why you get me around. Listen, when I was in Ventura, you get me around, you know, some soft silly, yelly belly lap lizards. I don't know what the fuck that is. I was born in the darkness, you know? It's just in me. I can hit a different gear because I come from the desert. All right. You ever seen Star Wars, the Sand People? They have those things. That's me. That's me in any situation. People are like, hey, do you think you're going to be able to handle this? You just got to tap into it. Listen, if you're from the Antelope Valley, you're from a desert, just know you always got a 6th gear in there. All right. Where you think things are shutting down. Just in your head, imagine, you know, and you'll be fine. But yeah, Aaron Carter overdosed. Listen, allegedly. That is just me speculating, okay? Because they found him in a bathtub, apparently doing whippets or whatever that thing is, where they like take, I don't know if it's whipped cream or it's some kind of tube. I remember seeing Steve-O on Jackass doing it too. It's like aerosol. Like little canisters it's like CO2 canisters. I think that's what Steve-O was using. And you just like literally just, and you would suck on it and it would, first off, it would get you high as fuck. Like you would hit this shit and you would just go to a different dimension. And it wouldn't last too long. So you had to keep doing them over and over again. There is a documentary pretty much on Steve-O in his craziest time. And it is insane to watch someone just literally like schizophrenic because of doing this stuff. But it's beautiful that Steve-O's back now. Fucking made it through. But here's the thing. Not everybody makes it through, which is the sad part. And it's usually like when people are doing that, they're like trying to self-medicate. I think that with most stuff. Whenever people drink too much, like when I was young, I always thought it was like, oh, they're just an alcoholic, or oh, they're just, you know, a druggie, or blah, blah, blah. It's escapism. And like a lot of times it's because they're dealing with something. And I think that's usually the case. And that's what's sad is you start, you know, obviously, dude, how many child stars have to die? For real. Like, it almost should be illegal that we use kids in shows. Especially little kids. We just go, yeah, this is great for their psyche. What? Yeah, let's give you all this artificial attention when you're a kid and then expect you not to have problems when you get older. It's just nuts. But yeah, Aaron Carter didn't make it. And I think it was linked to some kind of drug usage. And I know he was talking about it before, that he was dealing with stuff and how everybody turned on him. This is the dark side of the internet, is when you start realizing everything gets turned into a meme, no matter what. You know, there's stuff with, you know, sympathy, but then you just see so much, like people just don't think the internet is real. Like it's an interesting thing because I think that there's now a generation that's pretty much growing up, becoming an adult, that didn't grow up without the internet. And they're not dealing with the consequences of just saying things online. They almost think that it's not real, that they can say whatever they want online and they're not going to pay the consequences, which is, I think, the one thing that needs to be fixed with the internet, that there should be consequences for what you say. There should be like reality checks, but you know, the internet's all fucked up when you come to like expression and self-expression and even comedy. I know I've harped on it a lot, but like recently I've gotten like 3 strikes on my Instagram account. I'm reaching like no one on Instagram right now. Like it's very low compared to like what I used to get, the engagement and everything. And it's because I've been reported recently for like dumb shit. Like I don't even think I'm edgy and I'm getting reported. So it's like, this is the kind of comedy you guys want, is just like, oh, that's all. I didn't have any example of comedy. I just went with that sound effect. You know, when you don't have anything good to say, so you just like mock a voice. That's what happened right there. Did another sad thing. Let's move on from that. That got weird. I saw Black Panther, dude. Dude, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Dude, you watch Black Panther, it makes you want to be from Wakanda. Listen, I'm only half white, but the colonizer is in me. The appropriation is in me by default. Okay. And I want to be Wakandan forever. Like, just give me that. Can I have that? Okay. Because I've tried to be very good about not appropriating any culture. And I've tried to share my Puerto Rican culture with anybody who will have it. I'm very giving with the Puerto Rican culture. The white side, everybody's got a little bit. And oh, what do we want? Bland stuff? Nah, I'll give you as much of the Puerto Rican culture as you can handle, baby. But Wakanda Forever, phenomenal movie. And they handled it very beautiful with having someone like Chadwick who passed away. That transition of being like, okay, we just lost our actor. This movie still needs to come out. How are we going to transition this into a whole different movie? I think they did great. Overall, great movie, great story, great pacing, perfect length of time. Okay, they nailed it. People hate on Marvel, but they've figured out a formula that works great. Okay, it is tried and true, and it gets the job done. Now, you're like, Evan, who gives a shit about a Marvel movie? And I don't really care about people who say Marvel movies aren't real movies. You can all fuck off with that. Like this, I care about the story. There's so many aspects to what filmmaking is. And dude, movies have to be able to adapt to the culture. I really do think that you have to find a way to get it to resonate with people. It's almost the same thing with jokes. Is it doesn't matter. Like, you have to learn how. You can't just be doing. You just can't be like, I don't care if the crowd doesn't get this. Like, the whole thing is about connection, you know. And I was just thinking about some fucking terrible bombs that I've seen on stage of comedians that are like, this isn't for you, this is for me. Black Adam, the movie with The Rock, DC. DC does not know how to write a story to save their life. They had the Snyder cut that they did great, which was a super long movie. But DC, Black Adam, the story, the pacing, it was just so odd. And it was about 30 minutes too long. I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. But anyway, back to this bombing. I got to tell you about a bomb story, dude. Your boy got, listen, one aspect of my life, awesome. Stand-up has been better than ever, okay? We made the move to Austin, coming up on a couple years, about a year and a half, I would say, year and 10 months. Anyway, I'm not good at math. Neanderthal, call back. Austin have picked up a lot of steam, doing more shows than I've ever done in my life. It's not saying much. I haven't been doing stand-up very long. 4 years we're coming up on, which is cool. And sometimes I have to check myself with how long I've actually been doing it and what I want out of it, where I'm like, oh, I want to be doing this. I want to be doing that. I'm still just a baby in the game. All right. And I just need to develop like a baby bird, try to jump out that nest, hit the ground, snap my little baby neck, never hear from me again. Okay. So I'm enjoying it. It's been great. Been getting some really cool opportunities, meeting very cool comedians. It's a grind. It's always a grind, like the kids say. And it can be hard at times, but I would want to do nothing else. Okay. This is my thing. Stand-up is the first thing that I experienced in my life where it all fit. It all clicked right. And I've been searching for that my entire life, from doing, acting stuff, doing music. Still love music, but it's just like it wasn't always the perfect fit. Doing filmmaking, I love doing filmmaking and intertwining it, just being creative. But when I did stand-up, it just clicked for me, with me being happy with it. But it's not always happy doing this. And this is where the growth comes from. When you bomb your dick off, I'm talking, I bombed on stage so bad, my dick, I couldn't even find it on the ground. I was like, whoa, did anybody I bombed so bad. It wasn't even in the same vicinity. I had, to call it on my phone, and it had taken an Uber to a different building. That's how far away, I bombed my dick off. Okay. Like, I heard it leave at one point during the set and go, nah, like it was shot out of a cannon away from me. Sorry about that. Okay, that went a little too far. That was a very extreme visual. I get booked on this corporate gig. I've been booking a lot of cool stuff. Like, usually at this stage in comedy, you're getting booked by other comedians, show producers, stuff like that. But I also am on a couple like booking websites where people who are looking for comedians for events can book me directly, which I like because that's just gravy, baby. And I got booked on this corporate event. It was called the Local Austin City Awards. And if you're from Local Austin City Awards, thank you for the opportunity. Okay. But I get booked. I'm supposed to do like 7 to 10 minutes, I think, standard set. Little standard set just around town where it's just like there's no pressure. I do 7 to 10 minutes all the time, weekly. 15-minute sets. I love 15-minute sets. Got a 25-minute set this weekend. Anyway, I don't know why I'm just doing math for you guys. Point is, it was supposed to be a easy set, boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Good pay. And I'm reaching out to them, being really professional. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for the opportunity. It's at the top of this very fancy hotel, the Austonian. Beautiful, like 360 view of the city, the sunset, everything. And I'm like, hey, I usually, I'll arrive at this time. And it was like going to be 20 minutes before my set because I like to acclimate. Like I want to feel the room. I want to kind of like vibe into the room, go over my set, look in the room, like to see if like what's going on, if it's a new place. And this place, obviously a new place. And any gigs like this where it's just you're the only comedian are weird. All right, listen. You want to talk to other comedians. You want to have your brothers in arms and sisters in arms there because that's what it's like sometimes. If you go to a corporate event and it's just you, a couple comics, you're both just like bracing because you're like, this is going to be weird. Comedy outside of a comedy club is rough. A lot of comics can do it. You can pull it off. Some comics are great at corporate events where they bring them in and they're going to do crowd work and everything. Some of them, it's such a skill, but it's harder than doing comedy in a comedy club that is designed for it and everything. But at my level of doing stand-up, I'm still doing a lot of weird shows, a lot of stuff where the audio's not great and, we're outside or where, it's a pop-up show at a coffee shop. Like stuff just happens, in which I'm all great for. But then when I get in like a nice comedy club, like the Creek and the Cave, downtown Austin, I'm like, this is gorgeous. And I'm like, this is so easy. I don't have to yell jokes. I don't have to, the sound is great. The distance from the crowd is great. Like there's so much that goes into the feeling of stand-up to where it just changes everything. If a crowd is too hot, that's not good. If a crowd is too cold, it's not good. If the lights are on the crowd, that's not good. The way that laughter carries matters, how high the stage is. There's so many weird things that like just make comedy work better. Anyway, I show up to this event and they ask me though, hey, can you be here at this time so we can interview on the red carpet? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay. So I show up early and it's interesting. I show up, I'm definitely underdressed. The theme was Great Gatsby. They also tell me that they have valet for me. So I pull up, I hop out the truck and I'm like, hey, take care of my baby for me. It's an 05 F-150. Okay. I love saying it to valet. I've only done it twice. Don't think that I'm doing valet everywhere. And they go, yeah, our valet's full. And I'm like, oh, I'm one of the performers for the thing. And they were like, yeah, they already used up all their valets. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I drive around for 30 minutes trying to find a spot in downtown Austin. Not ideal for parking. I park illegally behind the building. No big deal. Go up to the top floor. Everybody is dressed to the nines. Okay. And I meet the guy. He's extremely nice. I'm waiting. They make me do a 360 camera pose. They're like, yeah, do a dance move and then point at the camera. And everybody was just like, hey, this is the comedian. He's going to be doing some of those comedy things, which is always weird when people call them comedy things. So then I'm I'm just like, oh, this is great. So they make me very uncomfortable. They make me do a 360 camera where everybody's sitting there watching me and they're like, strike a pose. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I strike a pose, I hit my marks, and I'm then waiting. And then there's going to be hors d'oeuvres, and like they interview me on the carpet. It was just literally a rolled up red carpet. It was, okay. It was just it was technically a red carpet, but they rolled it out, like they just rolled it. All right. Which I guess technically works as a red carpet event. Open bar, everything, but I'm not drinking before I do stand up. I don't gotta keep my mind right. I'm trying to look around the room, find anything that I can pull from that would be funny. And here's the other thing, and I support it. It's about 95% African American in the room. Okay. Which when I see that, I go fucking gold mine. Okay. Because you know who actually laughs the hardest at my jokes? The African American community has got your boy. Okay. Me and the African American community since day one. We're fucking intertwined. Okay. And I was like, this is great. This is great. So I'm like, all right, so these jokes will work. This will work. Blah, blah, blah. This is going to be good. Just in that aspect, it's still going to be a hell gig. Like to me, I still was like, this is not going to go well, but at least I had that going for me. So then they make us get food and everything, and I'm sitting there. They make me sit with all the guests, which is terrible. I hate it. It's weird because you just want to be in a green room. You want to just be able to look at your jokes. You don't want to interact and just have these weird conversations about, oh, it's you're the funny man, huh? And it's just like, I can do a little bit and everything, and I'm being nice. And I tell the guy, hey, just give me a 5-minute countdown when I'm going up, because he's going to they're like going to do awards and presentations. And then in the middle, they're going to have me go up and do stand up. So then he gives me my 5-minute mark. The girl's up there. She's the host, and she's doing this thing where she goes, when I say, hey, y'all say, hey, Cece. So I'm like, I'm definitely opening with that. I'm like, I'm going to open with, hey, y'all, and have them do it back. Then she also says that for some reason, she's an alopecia specialist. She says that she specializes in alopecia. And I'm like, boom, Will Smith joke. That's what we're opening up second with, crushing. So I go up there. I got my 5 minutes. I go out into the hallway. I like to stretch a little bit, just loosen up, feel like I'm going into something. I don't want to be sitting there like a dork with my dweebus out, just fucking walking up, waddling up, wiping like fucking crumbs off my face. So they introduce the comedian. I go up. First thing I do, hey, y'all. Hit them with the hey, y'all. They love it. Hey, Cece. They're laughing and everything. And then I go, shit, she was talking about alopecia. I thought Will Smith was going to show up. Crushed. Murderous, crushed. All right, we're talking. I have to just stand there laughing with them for like 15, 20 seconds. I'm almost losing control, where I'm just like, oh, okay, we're kind of losing this wave right now. Then I start going into material, and my microphone keeps cutting out. This is a nightmare. The microphone, I'm trying to walk in the center of the room and like kind of own it and like, yeah, but that's all you're hearing from me. And then they're like, go behind the podium. So I'm like, oh, cool. I got to go stand behind a podium and do jokes. So I go behind the podium and I'm like, man, this kind of feels like now I'm just giving a class presentation. This is cool. They didn't laugh at that. I don't know what they thought that was. Anyway, should have got a giggle. Anyway, I keep moving forward. And then like this thing that happens when a microphone cuts out, it's a canned joke where I just go, all right, cool. The one thing that I need to work doing stand-up isn't working. Great. They didn't really like that. Anyway, I push on. I start talking about small business. I do some regular stuff. It's working for about 3 minutes. I'm doing stuff. Microphone's still cutting out. To get the microphone to actually work, I have to lean on the podium and hold it in one position, and I can't even turn my head. If I turn my head, the microphone cuts out. It's terrible. It's the worst case scenario. And then I had thought about this because there was a couple white people that like won awards. And I was like, all right, I just randomly say, like, because if the joke wasn't working and it was cutting out and I was losing them, so I was like, all right, let me just go to kind of a little bit of crowd work to like get them back, and then we'll go back in the material. I say something like, man, how nervous are the white people in here if a dance contest breaks out? And then they laughed at that. So I was like, all right, cool. They're a cool crowd. And then I go into about, that's why there's only white privilege until the music turns on. Like I just kind of riff that. That was like, but like mentioning white privilege weirdly made them pull back. And then I go into this white privilege joke about white people and food and appropriation and all this. Like it's a joke. They did not like that at all. Like they turned on me. All right. And then I switched to some stuff about Texas. It was kind of working. And then I went to this stuff about being half white, half minority, blah, blah, blah. I started doing racial stuff. But it's only really making fun of white people and like a little bit of Hispanic, and which is what I am. I'm a combination of those things. They did not like that at all. And I'll be honest with you, Black people usually love it when I start going on white people. They're like, oh yeah, fucking give it to them. But they were like turned off completely by it. And I don't know if it was a very liberal crowd where it was just like, we're very, very socially correct, but they turned on me. Like there was even, someone was like, And then that's when the tailspin. And this is where you start bombing. A bombing for me is when I start getting affected by it. That's when I really care about it, because I can bomb. If jokes don't work, I'm bombing. That's fine. If I'm like, okay, these jokes weren't that funny, great. But these are jokes that I've done for years, and I'm like, I know these work. But the bomb starts happening that's really bad and cringy for me is when I know it's affecting me, when I'm feeling terrible about it and I'm letting it affect my performance. And these are great things. It's great to happen because it makes you get better. Because all those terrible things that I'm feeling, I'm like, I have to find ways and always have an escape plan to get out of those things because it was terrible. And then I went into kind of like, and I hate saying this, like panic mode, where I'm like, okay, let's get them with the closer. I start doing a closer that I have, and I realize it's so stupid that I even thought about this. I had so many other jokes I could have went to. I start going into a Texas abortion joke. It was the terrible move on my part, knowing this was a corporate event and knowing already that this crowd they weren't going to like it. They started off on board with it, okay? Because I was like, Texas is the best state as long as you wear condoms. That's how the joke starts. That gets a laugh. So I'm like, okay, we're loosening up. And then I start going to it, and every single line gets worse and worse and worse to the point where I'm just looking at people and they're just looking down at the table and shaking their head, and they're in silence. And instead of being like, all right, let's switch to a different joke, I know I had done enough time. I just go, well, all right, well, I think that's my time. You guys have been great. Thank you. And like a bitch, I walked off. I wish for myself, for my soul in that moment, I could have just switched to like a self-deprecating bit, where I could have just completely switched the tone of the room and stuck around. But I already was close to the end of my time. But just for me, I wish I would have handled it better. And it was terrible. I walked to my table. I was like, I'm not sitting back down, grabbed my water bottle, and then walked straight out the hallway. And then the person who booked me, what's funny is I don't think he saw the end of my set because he had to go deal with like a technical issue, hopefully fixing the microphone for whoever was next. And then he comes up to me. He only saw the beginning where I was like, the alopecia just murdered. And he's like, hey man, great job, blah, blah, blah. That was hilarious. And I'm like, all right, cool. Got paid and I left. And then they left me a 5-star review. And I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, that was the most recent bombing that I've dealt with. Yeah. Listen, when sets are going too good for a while, you're like, I'm fucking due for one. Hopefully I'm not due for another one for a minute. But it does teach you the most. Listen, you learn more from your failures than your successes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, that was a long story, huh? I just missed you guys. It's good to get back on here and doing these solo casts directly to you, because I'm talking to you. I'm in your ear balls right now, and I love you. And if you're watching the video, I'm in your eyeballs too. But thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the comments and the DMs when you guys like something in the episode. It means the world. I appreciate all of you. Hope you guys are getting through the holidays. Holidays are weird. All right. Everybody knows it. Okay. You just got to deal with some weird stuff, and it is what it is. But remember, we just stay focused, baby. We just keep it moving, pimping at the end of the day. All right. And I'll see you guys next week. We'll be back to our regular scheduled podcast on Wednesdays. And remember, no matter what, I still love you.